So I just cleaned up the diff cover, got all the old gasket material gone, which was the same gray RTV I'm going to use now. Make sure there's no grease or oil or nothing. Awesome. I'll let that cool off for just a moment, and then I'll get the RTV out. I'll start laying some out, get the hardware ready. We'll get it set in place. Let it set for a minute, bring it in snug, and wait to torque it until it's all cured. So that way we can almost guarantee no leaks at all. Funny part is the pinion seal that I picked up today is definitely the wrong size. I was reading part numbers trying to follow it, but something got lost in translation, so we'll wait another day or whatever it is. It's fine. Pinion seal is not bad to do. Could actually be done with the rear end back in the car. I do want to get the rear end back in sooner than later because I'm not wanting to wait too much longer with the car floating in the air. At least if the wheels are under it, I can roll it. So I'll just put the oil in at the end. That doesn't matter much to me. Okay. Get some RTV going and lay out a seal. Alright, I got my Permatex here, the gear oil rated flavor. It's gray. No, it's good for diffs. Right on it says gasket maker for differentials and transfer cases. And this is definitely a differential, so doing alright. So it's good. Yep. I put quite a bit of time into a lot of the detail work on this project. I'm really trying to do my best to at least turn it into something that's going to be sustainable. What I don't want to do is go through all this effort and trouble to just have a silly failure, something bad happen or what have you. I mean, some of the stuff of course you can't control, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want it to have happened at my hand, right? If I have any ability to control the outcome, that's certainly my intention. Spending so much time to try to make sure all the little details are captured, and hopefully that'll give me the best chance of success. I don't know what else I could really do, but about the best I can do. I've got really good resources available, friends that know a lot of detailed information and can walk you through just about anything. So I had never dealt with a rear diff before, never dealt with a differential before like this, other than just fluid change or something straightforward. And so it's a little bit of a daunting task changing out the gear set in there. But doing it because there's damage, I feel like is more concerning. It was cool. I didn't realize how much force is actually required to cause that crush washer to actually do what it does inside that on that pinion shaft and get those bearings tight. It was pretty neat, but I don't think it's something I'd want to do all the time. The list on the car feels like I'm barely making a scratch at it. February is gone. So the clock's ticking because March, April, and then the end of May, this adventure begins. No, this adventure continues, but we're going to change the scenery up a little and hit the road, so it's got to be ready. It's kind of funny because I get back from that Route 66 cruise, only to turn back around to go to Pennsylvania for Carlisle GM Nationals. Doing that again this year because I had such a good time last year. Figured why the heck not. So all in all, this year, between Route 66, Carlisle, and I usually do the Niagara meets, or the Niagara meet anyway, the Canadian one, I'm estimating I should be right near somewhere between 9,000 and 10,000 kilometers on this car. Just for car shows, just this year. Which is pretty awesome. I mean, I'm really excited about that number. It's just a number, but if it turns into reality, I'll be proud of that. Because that's kind of, well, first of all, it's kind of crazy to someone who's not into cars at all. From their point of view, they think I'm ridiculous. And fair, you know, it is what it is. But it brings me a lot of joy being out on the road and being able to enjoy this thing. I put a lot of work into it over all these years I've owned it now, and it's a little more than a hobby, I'll say now. It's more of a passion. It is very enjoyable for me to be out using this thing like it's meant to be used. So being able to share it, show other people the cars and hear their stories, and I usually get a lot of appreciation when it's out in the public and out and about. It's mostly, I think, related to people having memories of these cars because they were typically affordable and a lot of people had them. Or friends had them, or grandparents had them, or somebody they knew, you know, did this and that to it, and they put a V8 in the car over the weekend and jumped it in the field and ran it with no oil, whatever. Lots and lots and lots of stories. People are really excited to share it. It's kind of fun. There you go. So now, I'm gonna park this cover in its resting place here. We got gasket maker all the way around it. Should be probably-ish fine. Yeah, okay. Gotta pay attention. I got a specific bolt that goes here, and I believe here. They're kind of unique. They're related to, they're just different shapes. Nothing wild and crazy, I promise. Alright, let's set this on. I got another pile of parts that showed up today. I made a big order from Rock Auto, so I needed pistons, I needed piston rings, I needed main bearings, I needed rod bearings, and expensive parts, but it's a necessity. So after getting some information back from the machine shop who's taking care of the block for me, they determined that it's got, like, they say 2 mil of wear or something in it, like a pretty significant amount. Basically, the fella wasn't too confident that 30 over piston would be okay, so he says, you know, you should probably go to like a 40 over. That'll be safe, and we can make sure we remove enough material so, you know, everything has fresh metal under it. And well, if you're the professional, if that's what you're thinking, I'm gonna go with your instincts. So basically, I'm on the hunt for 40 over pistons and rings. So if you know anything about Chevettes, if you don't know anything about Chevettes, it's also, parts are hard to come by now. There used to be a boatload of these cars on the road, and now it's really slim pickings. There isn't much out there. Finding stuff, my goodness. Import it maybe, if you're lucky, you might get a chance to do that, but pistons and rings, my goodness. So on Rock Auto, I was checking like weekly. I was originally thinking I was gonna have to go with sleeves in the block, and whatever piston ring combination I could get after that, because I had options that way, right? I was thinking, well, if I get something with a sleeve, you know, they can make that fit whatever I find. So cool, whatever. And I kept on finding, I'd find 20 once in a while, 30, never saw any 40 stuff. After I got off the phone with the machine shop and they were telling me basically 40 over or nothing, 40, 50, 60 over, whatever, they wanted something big. I jumped on Rock Auto and I could not believe it. Sitting there with one set of 40 over 40 over rings and one set of 40 over pistons. I needed crank bearings that were 0.25 mil under and oversized for the crank and for the rods. They had those in stock. They were the only ones they had. My shopping trip, man, holy smokes, the amount of stress that was built up to that moment, I couldn't, it was wild. It was pretty fun. So everything's on its way currently in transit, or some of the stuff's been delivered, waiting for the rest of it to show up. And then what I'm going to do is ship everything to the machine shop. They're relatively local. Get everything to them, and then they can do the rotating assembly for me. And I've done them in the past. I did it on the Blazer, and I'm confident I could put it all together, but the timing is the factor. So I need someone who knows they can do it right. I don't want to be messing around with it. So I'd much rather pay to just have it done and not have to worry myself about the timeline. If I wasn't on such a strict timeline, I don't think it would bother me as much, but I have a bunch of other stuff on that list I got to shoot through, so I'd rather focus my efforts kind of somewhere else where I can, you know, I'm not going to pay someone else to do the rest of that list. It's just one little tidbit. So cool. So this cover is basically finger tight now. So what we're going to do is let it sit, let all the silicone cure, figure about an hour. So at that point you could full torque and you're done. 24 hours after that, it says you could put fluid in it. Could you put fluid in it right now and it would probably hold? More than likely you'd be fine. Just instructions, and you know what, I'm not in a hurry tonight, so I'm going to take my time, and that's what it's going to be. I'm probably going to do a little bit of paint prep for this. So yesterday I spent a bit of time, as you might notice, and I painted everything up. I had the gear set landed, I think you saw that. I've done the final torque on the rear cover. There's no oil in it. I'll do that once it's in the car. But everything else is back together on this rear, and it's ready to go back into the car now. There's a few touch-ups I did with paint, probably going to be a few more after it's in the car, but I think it looks a heck of a lot cleaner than it did. Oh my goodness. So it's got new seals all around. So the pinion seal right in here, I ended up having to measure it, and I ordered one online. I found a 2-pack for like $10, super affordable. Hopefully it's not gonna give out on me. It's gonna last, but if it does leak, it looks like there's an engineered like weep hole at the bottom here, so I'd at least see a drip coming from the pinion if it does start leaking. And then changing that seal, it's not that involved. It's just taking off the torque tube to get access, which it can all be done under the car. So not the end of the world, even if it happened during the cruise. As long as I catch it before the rear end is damaged, I can add fluid, I can make that work. I could even take the breather off and plumb into there if I had to with a bottle, but we'll make it go. I don't think it's going to be too terrible here, so anyway, I'm yapping again. I'm going to get this in the car and start putting it back together. I don't think it'll be all assembled tonight, but I'm going to spend a little bit of time just try to get it hung so the car's a little safer, and then I can do the brakes again and reconnect the lines. I got to bleed them. Have to hook up the e-brake again, of course, and I don't know. I'm sure there'll be other stuff that'll be like, oh yeah, I meant to, you know, so let's go.